we've completed our investigation and we've come to the conclusion that you were robbed.
We were robbed? I think it's pretty obvious that we were burgled.
Burgled?
Robbed.
That's not necessarily so. Those bugmen could have just taken all of your stuff back to headquarters to make sure they sprayed everything really good.
Hey, that's what I said. Will you drop it? They were robbed.
Well, I'm thirsty. You guys got any orange soda?
Who loves orange soda?
Officer Sony loves orange soda.
Is it true?
I do, ooh, ooh.
Oh, no. Will you stop it?
Welcome back, Fantas, to Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron. I'm Adam.
And I'm Aaron.
And we are back after this lengthy hiatus to...
It has been quite some time.
You heard the announcements. You know, we just wanted to take it easy with a couple projects and life things. So we're back in the swing of it now.
Being a teacher in March and April is very difficult. If you're a teacher out there and you're listening, you understand. If you're not, you will never understand. But anyways, here we are, ready to talk about the things that matter most in life, including Kenan and Kel and the attack of the Bugmen.
Season 3, Episode 8. Classic, directed by Kim Fields, written by Alex Reed. He was the Skeletor versus Mothman guy. He also... Yeah, he was the bowling episode of Malcolm in the Middle that I keep referencing.
Right, that I should probably watch.
Not really. I like that show. That's fine. So let's join Kenan, Kel, and Coolio on the big orange couch as we sit down for this episode. Do you remember watching this episode way back when?
Oh yeah, I remember this one.
This is the last episode I remember seeing on like TV. And like I remember watching it with you and Rachel at the same time.
I think it was one of the most memorable episodes. Because I remember watching it on TV too.
Yeah, the cringe is real.
It's so painful. It's a painful experience cinematically. It's just these characters are so. Oh man.
Yeah, just it's the worst experience that you ever have, which is restaurant related, right?
The restaurant angst, the burglar angst. Yeah, it's angsty.
Absolutely. Kenan and Kel emerge onto stage, wearing some, I'd call them classic outfits.
Classic, as always. Nothing really special.
Kel's wearing blue. Kenan's got some green.
Just short sleeve Oxford kind of style shirts.
I noticed that Kenan, in reaction to Kel getting like a lot of applause, even more than Kenan, has a little like, he's kind of like, ooh, cool, being sarcastic about it. It's a trend that continues throughout the show.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Kel's jeans are fantastic.
How would you describe them?
They are probably at the waist. They're probably like a quintuple XL, but then they're probably cinched together. They're like you could fit like both of your legs in one pant leg.
Kenan and Kel can fit in those pants.
Yeah, I think so. It'd be a good pants for a 3-legged race. If you wanted to share a pant leg.
If you want to get really in the zone with it.
Really into it. Anyways, we're not making fun of the 90s. We respect the 90s.
Yeah, lots of respect. Kenan and Kel are ready to go for the show, and Kel is so ready, he doesn't want Kenan to get into any situation, so he's like, let's start the show.
He tries to hurry it because, by his logic, if he hurries it, then nothing bad can happen.
Exactly.
And then, as Kel grabs Kenan's hand and tries to rush off stage, the curtain pulls back, and we see, like, stage crew getting the set ready.
Yeah, the crew, they're on, like, ladders, they're, like, wheeling by lights and stuff like that, they're holding ropes. And Kenan explains, like, hey, Kel, this is where, they're not ready yet. I think this was my first intro to, like, people, like, stage hands and stuff like that.
Oh, maybe.
Like, this and, like, the Amanda Show had a very, like, behind-the-scenes producing, all that, too.
With these shows that are so fun, I think they do try to include the stage a little bit more because it's more family oriented. You know, it's like, oh, look, there's people who do stuff like that.
Baby's first like stagecraft
Yeah. Yeah.
intro. Keenan's like, they're not ready yet. Why do you want to rush anyway? And Kel says what you said, basically. I won't get in trouble. And Kenan says, naive, foolish, destined for trouble, Kel.
Oh, I missed that line. Oh, that's a good line.
Yeah, it is. Basically tells him that it's inevitable. You'll get in trouble no matter what.
I think that line goes for both of them, right?
Yeah, Kenan in a way is naive, foolish, and destined for trouble as well.
Always. Kenan's basically like, look, we are going to do this show anyways, and it's going to be bad. As in bad for us, because that's just how their universe works. And so he says, come on, Scaly?
Yeah, I heard Scaly.
Scaly, okay.
And on with the show.
I wrote, this first scene at Rigby's starts with Kel opening the back door, Chris carrying a box to the back door, and then Kel, of course, hitting Chris. And as I wrote a note on this, I accidentally wrote, Kel hits Christ. And,
oh wow, that's that's a lot more intense than what happens.
I can't help but think there's some theological overlap here, but we'll save that for another episode.
Oh well, they Kenan and Kel are playing a game.
Oh yeah,
and not just any game. This is like the game of all games.
What's it called, Adam?
Penguin Hunter.
Penguin Hunter.
The board is massive.
And the pieces are enormous.
The board's like the size of a twister mat.
The pieces are like mugs. They're like the size of like a mug.
Yeah. So it's like ice themed, right?
Yeah, they are hunting penguins.
There's a walrus piece that goes like around the board.
I really appreciate that. We've mentioned this before, I think, but almost every episode, there's like some board game, some card game, some game being played. It's very like apropos for the time, like the late 90s. Board games were really big for not just like family, but friends. Everybody played board games together.
Yeah, I think this is really emblematic of that era. And it like I said, it seems like a fun game. I'd play Penguin Hunter.
Yeah, it sounds like an early Catan.
Yeah. So they've got an Eskimo spinner, like a walrus that travels around the board, and a pair of dice that are ice dice.
Ice.
Did you notice them?
No, I noticed the nice board. It's like somebody actually made this board.
Yeah, and they use the clip art stuff that they always do.
Oh, can't beat it.
And there are 100 like little itty bitty like penguin action figures on the board.
Really?
Yeah, there's something to that tune.
There's not 100. There's like there's like 20.
I thought it was like 50 or so.
What the heck? There's no way.
Well, let me put it this way. Kel has probably about 90% of the penguins.
Kel has a lot of the penguins. That's a very bad estimation on your part. I can't get over how bad that is. Anyways, the game basically works with there's like, I don't know, they both have a character and they try to kill the other person's characters, but then they come back to life. I don't really get it.
Yeah, I think
again,
it's something
the
like
resurrection theme.
Wow. My interpretation was they're both like hunting penguins and everyone wants to get the most. You have to like clear out the other person.
You have to kill the other person's penguins, right?
Yeah.
But then you have penguins that they can kill again.
I guess I assumed it was capturing, but it is called hunter. You are hunting them for sport.
I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
They're explaining the game to like one of the customers, and she's pointing out that Kenan's doing very, very poorly.
It's very kind of her.
As we watch Kel win 5 of Kenan's penguins,
we pan over to Chris carrying more heavy boxes, and in a passing moment, Charlotte's like, "Oh, Chris, I'll help you," because he asks Kenan for help, but Kenan is too busy, of course.
Playing a board game at work.
which his boss is just okay with. But, we've already accepted that Kenan doesn't really work. But then Charlotte's like, "No, I'll help." And he's like, "Really? They're like, are you sure they're really, really heavy?" And he like is having a hard time picking it up. And of course, it's very easy for Charlotte to carry. So.
Yep. Do you think that Charlotte is secretly strong or Chris is obviously weak?
Both.
Okay.
I think Charlotte's a strong female character, like in multiple.
In both in both senses.
Yes. I wish she got more screen time.
Yeah, speaking of people that should get more screen time, here comes Kyra.
That's right. This is a big Kyra episode, people.
Oh yeah. She comes up, she's wearing like a kind of checkered outfit. Which really matches the theme of the evening.
It almost looks like a school uniform, but a little bit more like normal.
90s. Yeah, so she tells Kenan that, because she got all straight A's, that they're going to go to Pizza Farm for dinner tonight.
To which Kel immediately jumps into action and starts deciding how on earth, or questioning how on earth he's going to make the decision of whether to go to Pizza Farm with Kenan and his family or continue playing Penguin Hunter.
I think crisis is the word that you're looking for.
Crisis, yes.
Crisis.
Agony in the garden much?
Yeah, he has an agony in Rigby's as he.
I'm so sorry.
Has determined what to do.
I just could. I wrote. Oh boy.
So yeah, no. Kenan explains to him very calmly. He's like, "We're gonna finish the game, then we're gonna go to dinner." And then they do so let me get this straight. They move the game, right? Back to the Rockmore's house. They take it down, they fold up the giant board, they pack away the pieces, they go into the Rockmore's living room, put it on the coffee table that's too small for the board, and then they start playing more there.
That's exactly right, Adam.
So, yeah. Which is weird to do on a time crunch, is all I'm saying.
The time frames of this episode don't map. They don't match up.
No, they do not.
They don't match up. Okay. There is, I recommended a book to you a couple weeks ago called Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss, where he has profiles of these high performing people, blah, blah, blah. There's this profile of this guy, Derek Sivers, and he has this saying called, "Don't be a donkey." And the saying is basically like, okay, so there's a donkey and he's tied to a rope, and there's water over here and then there's hay over here, and he's hungry and thirsty, but he can't decide which to do first, so eventually he dies of hunger and thirst. Right?
So you think that Kenan and Kel suffer of that?
Well, so the moral of the story is look, you can do everything you want to do in life, you just can't do it all at once. Do one and then do the other and then do the other.
Don't spend all your time deciding between them.
Yeah, but Kenan and Kel in this episode are both very much in the I don't want to say donkey. It sounds mean, but going with that analogy, they can't just Kel, especially Kel in that moment. He can't parse out the reality.
And later they literally witness a donkey.
it's a donkey. Yes, you're right.
It's a donkey situation.
It's a very donkey situation we got here.
Yeah, so Kenan and Kel are playing the game. Kel has names for a lot of his penguins, which are amazing.
What are some of the names?
Memphis, Clevis, Joseph.
All great names. I like Clevis.
Kenan's parents are getting ready to go to Pizza Farm in the background. I know this vibe very much. The parents are leaving, and it's no, I'm in the middle of something. Wait.
And they're like, no, now. Although it must be nice to live in the city, because Kenan's like, no, let us finish our game. We'll be right there.
Yeah, no, they're not a situation of there's just the one car and you have to drive 15 minutes to dinner.
Yeah, the Pizza Farm is within walking distance of their home.
Absolutely, a running distance, as later indicates.
Mayhaps.
Yeah, so, Kenan explains we're in the middle of a game. And he's staging his comeback, even though it's very clear that this game is going one way, not the other. Basically, the parents say, all right, fine, you can come meet up with us there.
And then before they leave, Roger says, okay, Kenan, make sure you lock the door.
Yeah, Kenan had the door open.
Right, Kenan had the door open.
It's a hot day in Chicago.
Apparently. That's why they're wearing jeans.
Well, this is the least baggy their outfits get.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, what did you notice what was on Kenan's shirt in all this episode?
It was 3 squares. But I don't know.
I thought they were like frogs or something in those squares.
I don't know. The elements of the periodic table. I don't really know what they were.
I feel like I've owned that shirt in the past.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, it does look like frogs. like a very biology shirt.
That's what Roger says. Kyra blows Kel a kiss, and Kel, I like this bit. He literally like picks up the kiss out of the air and throws it away.
Yeah, he clearly is over Kyra. So, anyways, they tell Kenan to close the door. They close it on their way out. Kenan looks at Kel, goes over as soon as they leave, and opens it up again just to spite. His parents and say that I don't have to follow those rules.
Anyone can walk in off the streets. And he's like, who cares? And so he opens the door, and then they realize, man, it's so hot here. We should move the game upstairs.
Which is stupid. If you've ever been in a house that doesn't have air conditioning.
Because Keaton like basically said to Kel, "Is like, I have a fan up in my room. That'll work out. Just move the fan downstairs."
Instead of moving the whole game.
A second time. When they're on a time crunch.
Anyways, we pan to the room with the fan. A lot of rhymes there. And imagine what Kel is doing with the fan. Just I want everybody to just sit and picture a fan, and you're a kid, and it's a hot day. What do you do to the fan? You go up to it and you go, wow, wow.
Yeah. And he's just having a fun time with that. Kenan has a great turn in Penguin Hunter.
He does.
An amazing turn in which he gets to take 3 of Kel's penguins.
It's a big deal. Except Kel has a keep my penguins card.
Yes. He does not face the wrath of the penguin punishment square that Kenan landed on.
What do you think this game is most like? Do you think is this?
It's like Monopoly, but there's also I want to say a chess element, but it's property like control. Like you keep taking things from other people.
It's almost like war.
Yeah, it's a lot like war. It's like Penguin War on a Monopoly board.
Yeah, I'm taking all of yours, except it's just based on chance.
Yeah, because you're just rolling around. There's no strategy at all.
I don't know. I was playing chess today for the first time in years.
Oh, you were Queen's Gambiting it?
I lost.
Oh, no.
Twice. The first game was abysmal. The second game, I held my own and then crumbled.
That's good.
Yeah.
Hey, give it enough tries and you'll do pretty well.
I'll get there, but I wish I had Penguin Hunter. I'll be honest.
Yeah. So Kel goes downstairs to get his card. And what's different about the population of the Kenan's living room?
There are 2 strangers down there.
Yep. Black clad. It's like they're inspecting items on his mother's armoire.
Now, Adam, if Kel had been in Mr. Kimball's class, is it Kimball? No, I know his name is Kimball, but kindergarten cop. What's the guy's name?
Scruff McGruff?
No, the kindergarten cop with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, I don't.
It's Kimball. I just watched it this weekend. All right. Well, they taught the kids to point and yell "stranger" when there was a stranger, and there was a stranger who was trying to kidnap the one kid, and there was a fire drill. It was chaos, and so they point and spoiler alert.
Yeah.
If you need, I'm sorry.
For kindergarten cop.
Came out in 1990. Okay.
John Kimball's his name.
John Kimball, right? Like
and
Kel
this
Kimball.
is my gun.
If he was paying attention to his uncle Kimball, they all pointed and yelled "stranger, stranger," and that's the only way that Mr. Kimball was able to save the day. So Kel clearly was not paying attention to his estranged uncle Schwarzenegger's Kimball. That's a weird tie-in, but anyways, let's get back to this episode.
He's like, hey, who are you guys? Just casually, and they come up with an excuse of like, yeah, we're bug men. We're spraying for bugs.
Well, first they say bug guys.
Bug guys.
I don't even know what else they say.
I feel like if this was made like a couple years later, they'd be played by like Drake and Josh. The way they talk is very akin to that.
It's like this is very reminiscent of the Diamond Thief, right? Or whatever it's called. Diamonds Are for Roger.
That's it.
Clearly these guys are trying to steal Mrs. Rockmore's giraffe ornaments, which is what
the various stuff off the furniture.
Yeah, the stuff off the furniture. And then Kel doesn't seem to think that's an issue.
Yeah, well, he does the smart thing. He shouts up to his Kenan, because he's like, this is Kenan's house, let me check with him. And Kenan, for some reason, pays no attention to what Kel says. And she's like, yeah, fine, whatever.
Well, Adam, it's because he's focusing on the game.
Yeah, he's practicing rolling the ice dice.
Is he practicing? I thought he was just concentrating. That's funny.
Kel goes up the stairs, and they're like high-fiving each other. And Kel's like, wait a second. I forgot my Keep My Penguins card. And he goes to grab it. And they're just like, yeah, make sure you stay upstairs while we spray down here.
And that he does.
Yep.
That he does. Kel goes upstairs, and that's pretty much the last we think of these guys.
Meanwhile, at Pizza Farm, what do you think of this establishment?
No. I don't think it's legal.
No, to have this animals this close to like the food.
No, there's it's like a petting zoo that you eat near. Like that would not
you
pass.
Eat inside. Like, you know, so there's a bunch of animals walking around. There's hay everywhere. They look just so uncomfortable.
Well, I can just imagine the smell.
Oh, it smells horrible. And then you have to eat in that.
And then everybody's dressed like a cowhand or a farmhand or a cowboy.
Yeah, the waiters are dressed like that. I'm curious. Do you know who plays the head waiter here? Patrick.
I really felt like I've seen him before.
You may have seen his performance, his bodily performance. So this guy, and this is a crazy reference.
Is it Heath Ledger?
No.
I'm sorry.
He does look kind of like Heathy.
It looks a little scary. Is it Jack Nicholson?
No. He's
I'm kidding.
He's tall and lanky, and he moves in a weird way. He is the go-to guy for Guillermo del Toro, a horror director. He plays like all the monsters in his movies.
No way.
Yeah, for example, in The Shape of Water, like the amphibian man in that film.
Oh my God.
That's Doug Jones. That's him.
Why is he in this role?
I don't know. This is what he was doing, 23 years ago or what have you.
A quirky
Pan's Labyrinth. There's
zoo.
the creature in that film. He plays him.
Oh man. Could you imagine like trying to do an acting career, not getting any gigs? The one person just says, "You look kind of like a monster." It's like, okay, this is my life now.
Yeah.
It's like somebody's just like, "You look like a drug addict." It's like, oh, well, this is my face, and I don't do drugs.
Okay, here's a role you might know him from. I think. Let me confirm this really quick here. In Hellboy, he plays Abe Sapien, the water man in there. In The Benchwarmers, he's the robot.
Why is that a role? Why?
I don't.
His face doesn't even show.
No. He goes on to hide his face, but yeah, that's him.
Oh wow.
So yeah, a great pull for this episode. But yeah, no, he's.
I hope he's chiming in.
The Rockmores have an insane food order, I want to say. Did you write this down?
Yeah, 2 large pizzas, 2 large lemonades, and then milk.
A glass of fresh milk. Oh, okay. These might be glasses. I was thinking pitchers of lemonade.
2 large glasses of lemonade.
Okay. And these look like personal pizzas. So
they do look smaller. Yes, they do look
Got
smaller.
It. That's less crazy than what I was picturing.
Yeah, no. I don't know what you're picturing. But anyways, the Roger orders milk. Why he orders milk?
For this gag, pretty much.
For the gag, right? But why would you go out to dinner and order milk? But there maybe it's like fresh milk on the menu because the waiter goes over, milks a cow, and then gives it to Roger, who is now drinking fresh, warm cow milk.
Would you drink that?
Yes.
Right out of the cow.
I would. I would do it to say I did it. But no, that's how they used to drink it.
Sure. I mean, I don't eat eggs off ever, but I would eat a fresh egg, right out of the chicken.
Right out of the chicken.
Fresh squeezed orange juice is great.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
Same principle.
Yeah. Fresh is good. Whenever you can see where your food comes from.
Yeah. Buy fresh, kids.
That's right. All the kids listening. Fresh oranges for orange soda.
Yeah. Buy fresh, millennials. Fantas.
Well, yes. Go to your support local farmers. That's good. Like at the pizza farm. They farm pizzas too.
So, in the game of back to Penguin Hunter, the game has taken a turn, and Kenan has how many penguins left?
One.
A single penguin.
And Kel has like 25.
Yeah. And Kenan and Kel's like saying to him, "Kenan, will you still be my friend after I destroy you in Penguin Hunter?"
Kenan is obviously defeated, like me playing Scrabble.
And his heel turn is so good. I wrote down his speech here. He's like, I still got it. I still got a chance. All right, you destroyed me. It's gonna be the most lopsided victory in the history of Penguin Hunter.
Like they stayed for so long playing this game that they could have finished when they got back.
Yeah, they could have finished. They could have. Kenan just could have admitted defeat.
Like a long time ago.
And they didn't make any major movement. This is a slow game.
It must be like a game of life. Anyways, Kel is like, Kenan, since I beat you, can you get me some orange soda? Or something a little less kind than that. And Kenan goes, get it yourself.
Yeah,
And he's crying in tears.
Kel goes downstairs, and we have a wonderful moment. What's different about the Rockmore's house?
It's empty. And clean.
Yeah, it's just the pictures are gone. The couches and rugs are gone. Every piece of furniture is missing from the downstairs.
I don't understand what kind of burglar would steal everything.
Yeah, it's scary, let me tell you. I think I recall having nightmares about this as a kid.
That is, I feel like I did too.
Yeah. Of just everything is gone from your house. That's a frightening image.
Wait a second. That's like, that probably cuts deep to the core of what it means to be an American, right? It's like you have all this stuff, like now it's all gone.
You're stripped of everything.
And you're like, oh, but I need that. Oh, but I need that. But really, it's probably like, if this happened, I mean,
insurance.
It'd be terrible, and you have insurance, right? But it'd probably be like, getting a new computer. And like I just did, and and backing up your old computer, but never actually uploading anything, never looking at the files.
Yeah, you're just looking at the old stuff. You're like, this is a good opportunity to start over.
I don't know. I can't help but think that that this episode is a critique on American identity. No, I'm just joking.
The only other 90s Nickelodeon episode that made me feel this way was like the Rugrats yard sale episode.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It's basically the babies go over a process of like taking everything out of the house, and they are like selling it for super cheap. And there's like a horror at the end that all the stuff in their house has been sold.
Oh man.
Like, isn't that like terrifying?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's just like scary. Like, where's my stuff? Yeah. That's my favorite. Like, people online will put up a picture or a video of their minimalist house, or it'll be like a TikTok. It'll be like, "This is my minimalist home," and the comments are like, "Where's all the stuff? Like, where's your drawer that has stuff in it? Like,
where do you put your receipts?
Where do you put your pens? Where do you put the old pens you're never gonna use?
Where are you gonna write stuff down?
There's no stuff."
Yeah, no, so maybe that's the future of the Rockmores here.
Where are your dead batteries?
Your drawer of batteries that you're not
and your
you want to throw away yet.
Lights.
Yeah. I'm looking at my mountain of like water bottles and like
where are your clothespins and your protractor?
Where's your stack of index cards that are way too many than you'll ever need?
Where's your bug spray?
All right.
It might have helped them this episode to have bug spray.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, we don't need you guys. You can leave."
Yeah, we got bug spray.
Kel walks through the family room, walks into the kitchen that's also empty. He reaches where the refrigerator should be, and is not. And then he turns around, goes upstairs. And what does he say to Kenan?
I don't even know. I was so beside myself.
He says to Kenan, you're out of orange soda. He's like, no, they're not. We just put some in the fridge. You're out of refrigerators, too. So, I think it's a well-written episode. Kenan goes downstairs to kind of basically do what our mom does, which is like, no, this is where it is.
Right.
Pull it out of the magical pocket in the fridge.
Yeah, it's like, no, it's right there. Like, what?
Yes. So as he goes down, Kenan freaks out. Yeah, he starts like, my living room is empty. And he goes, he should see the kitchen. And he goes in there and he freaks out and comes in. He blows up in the blinds. He's like, my kitchen! And he's reaching through and he's like, it's empty! And Kenan and Kel, always the optimist. What does he do? Starts
dancing. He's like, oh, it's great. Look at all this space.
I wrote this down like 2 months ago when I first watched this episode. Is that Kel's like, Kel in an empty room will just fill it with talent. he does this like jazzy like West Side Story.
You're right.
Like riff, but instead of like when you're a jet all the way, he's like, when you're a cat all the way.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's exactly what he does, right? Because this is just an empty room. Like, there's no props. There's nothing. You gotta just fill it. And Kel just
he's stripped of all
it.
his essentials. It's just his body.
And he's like, "This is awesome." He's like a mime. It is like physical comedy, right? But he's going everywhere. I mean, and these burglars stole everything. There's nothing hanging up. There's nothing on the ground. He goes into the closet and there's nothing in the closet. Like, what burglar would open up the closet and like not like take all the coats?
Also, how can I hire these burglars next time I'm moving?
Yeah, in like an
under
hour.
an hour?
Oh my god, not even an hour. I mean, I don't even
just everything.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe they were like the beginning burglars, and they had like a team, like a crack team that comes afterwards.
Maybe. This reminds me of that show I used to watch when they used to put cameras in people's houses before that was a thing, and in like 2005, and they used to then have somebody break in, and then
to catch a thief,
like,
right?
Yeah, and they showed the guy breaking in. And they're like, oh, this is where your house is not secure. And then they showed the guy destroying the person's house while the person watched in a van outside.
Put that in the same category as this in the Rugrats. I always feel terrible remembering that.
That show's so bad. Anyways, I literally wrote down that this felt like a bad dream. And then later on, I don't know if this is, I mean, I think this scene's pretty much done. The police officers come, right?
Yeah, well, Kel ends it by passing out.
Kel passes out, right? And so he's still passed out. The police officers come, which, props to Kenan. That's the right move there.
He called the police. I don't know how he did it. Maybe his phone upstairs.
There's probably a phone upstairs.
Yeah. But yeah, he called the cops. Good thing.
And they're finishing up their investigation. But he goes over to Kel, and Kel...
But before he goes over, the police officer points at Kel, and he's like, what's wrong with him? And Kenan looks over and he says, a lot of things.
No.
But yeah, well, what does he do?
Well, he goes over to, like, Kel, and then Kel wakes up and punches Kenan almost across the room because there's nothing stopping Kenan, right? And then Kel wakes up and says, whoa, I just had a bad dream. I had a dream that I punched you across the room or something like that.
He says, you were lightly tapping me on the cheek, and I hauled off and knocked you across the room.
Something like oh, that's the dream.
Yeah.
I love Kel.
The police officers report back to Kenan that we come to the conclusion that you were robbed. And that's the first indication that, like, oh, hang on a second, there's something really good going on with these officers. I'm sure you recognize Officer McWiggums.
I do. That is the father from That's So Raven and Corey in the House.
Yeah, Victor Baxter is the character. But he's played by Rondell Sheridan.
The head chef for the President of the United States.
Yep, here he is with a...
multi-talented.
With a crazy wig on.
He had a story from rags to riches.
Keen's like, we know that we were robbed. Well, why do you think we were burgled?
Burgled.
They do that thing, and then you're all of a sudden like, oh, hang on a second, there's parallels going on.
Corey in the House's dad looks like Kenan and has the same hair as Kenan, like the same wig. And then Officer, what's his name? Menzoni. He does not look Italian, but Officer Menzoni is just like Kel.
So before Kel passed out, he proposed a theory that, maybe the bug sprayers took it all back to headquarters to make sure they sprayed it really, real good.
And that is a great line. And that line is repeated by Officer Manzoni verbatim.
Yeah, that's his theory of what happened.
What kind of police officers are these?
No, yeah. So as they're getting mad at him, McWiggum says to Manzoni, "Will you drop it?" and then they're like, "Tell us what happened." Kel describes him going down to get orange soda, and of course, guess what happens?
Oh, you guys have orange soda? Says Officer Mendoza. What is this? Holes.
Manzoni.
This is Holes, like Holes. What is the name? Oh my God. Madam Zeroni. Madam Zeroni.
Yeah, Officer Madam Zeroni. It's like, "You'll bring me orange soda to drink, or your family will be cursed for always or eternity."
For always in eternity. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, shy.
He loves orange soda. We discover that he also loves orange soda. He does the bit, he lifts up his leg, and the two of them just start dancing in the room.
Who loves orange soda? Officer Manzoni loves orange soda. It's love at first sight. The parallels are good. I like this addition to the episode because without this, the episode would have been kind of drab. You know, like there was like this little extra layer, not drab, but you know, I like when they go the extra mile, and that's exactly what they did.
This was a really inspired idea to have officers that like just match them, because like as they're dancing, going back and forth, both McWiggums and Kenan shout in unison, "Will you stop it?"
Yeah,
and they look at each other and they realize they're like, "Oh wait, we're the same person."
Yeah, it's the same thing. Must have been a fun acting scene too.
Oh yeah. So they have a theory that the burglars often hit multiple houses. So they're going on the hunt. Where can we find you? Oh, Kenan realizes that we're late for Pizza Farm, so they rush there.
Now he realizes. Listen, they're in a bad situation, and they're gonna make it worse. But before they make it worse, you know, at least Kenan called the cops.
Yeah, that's a responsible thing to do. Although he did call these cops.
He can't control who he calls.
No, you don't know who's dispatched. Upon hearing Pizza Farm, Officer Manzoni's like, "Ooh, Pizza Farm," and he walks to the door, hits his head on like the door frame, and falls.
Oh, I didn't see that part. Oh my gosh.
And what does McWiggum say?
I don't have it.
Oh, he says, "Why?"
He's like so upset.
At Pizza Farm, Kel rushes over to the pony, and Kenan like stops him.
Yeah, he's trying to do about pony. And then they're like, "Oh, there are your parents over there." And then they go over to the table and they realize their parents are pretty upset that they missed the whole entire dinner.
You missed the whole meal.
That is something to fear in your nightmares.
Yeah. And yeah, they're like, "You missed the whole meal." Mrs. Rockmore says, "Don't worry, we have lots of food at home." To which Kel says, "No, you don't."
And Kenan quickly stifles that. Their whole goal here is to try to stop them from getting home.
They're stalling them.
Right, they're stalling.
And they will stoop to any level to stall them.
This next part is quite amazing, I might say. This is some of their best work.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not usually affected by these episodes the way Rachel is, but it grates on me. No, yeah. So Kenan, using every tool in his arsenal, drops to his knees and starts making a scene about how his father's not feeding him.
He's like, "Oh, Father, you haven't fed me in so long."
"You fed my sister. Why won't you feed me?"
It's so bad.
Yeah, and everyone's looking at them and just making a big scene, and they have to be like, "Okay, we'll feed you pizza."
No, but before that happens, Kel, who has been blundering everywhere, gets on his knees and starts begging him to, next to Kenan.
They're just shouting. But the Rockmores relent. And Mr. Rockmore is very much like, "You better enjoy now, because when you get home, you're gonna be in trouble."
Perhaps we may have been too hasty, or something like that. Let's eat. Meanwhile, they've been there for at least an hour and a half. Like how much pizza and lemonade can you take? How much of the smell can you take?
Oh, I would not be able to. There's a reason that petting zoos you walk through them.
Yeah, you don't stay for long.
No, that sounds awful. And then they have to. Not only that, but how much pizza do Kenan and Kel consume? Like
4 pizzas.
Yeah.
That's what they say. They're like struggling to eat in the next scene, and man, this sure tasted good 4 pizzas ago. They're just eating so much pizza, and I don't know how it's gotten to this point. I don't know how this episode's gotten to this point.
Yeah, Kenan is just like, I'm still so hungry. And you see him unable to eat, like, another bite.
His hand's shaking.
Yeah, he's got the shakes, the pizza shakes.
The pizza shake.
As all this goes on, Kenan has become fully delusional.
As
Kyra,
he's lost it.
Yeah. Yeah, Kyra and her parents go to pet the goat. And Kenan has a new theory of how they should live their lives.
Kel's like, Kenan, they're gonna have to go eventually, and he's like, well, I actually don't know. Who says we can't stay forever? My dad could get a job making pizzas. My mom could get a job as she's very good and pretty and good with people. She could be a waitress. Kyra could clean up after the animals, and you and me, we could be professional pizza eaters. He's like so delusional.
Yeah. And yeah, Kel rightly says, I don't think I can eat another pizza for the rest of my life. Which, yeah, this is a very scarring moment. So Kyra smells something's up and comes over and, like, says, hey, what's going on? Kel lets it slip that all their stuff was stolen. So Kenan basically ropes Kyra into their scheme.
Yep.
To get her to order some dessert. But first, we have a visit from our 2 lovely police officers.
Yeah, the 2 police officers come in, and instantly Officer Madam Zeroni.
Officer Madam Zeroni.
Officer Madam Zeroni sees a pony and yells, "Pony!" and tries to jump on it.
Yeah, Mick Wiggum stops him. And this is the parents kind of like, what's going on here? And Kenan's like, oh, Kel lost his puppy.
And Mrs. Rockmore says, Kel, you don't have a puppy. And Kel says, not anymore, because he ran away.
Yeah, so they get up and talk to them off to the side. Once again, weird that these police officers are going along with Kenan. He's like, I haven't broken the news to my parents yet. Right.
Adam, you missed the most important part of the episode.
Oh, please. Do not let me not step in this moment.
Okay, so Kenan leans into the officer. Not the officer. He doesn't lean in either. I'm trying to sell it. Kenan says to the waiter that Kyra wants the ice cream barge. And everybody's like, ice cream barge, the ice cream barge. And the waiter says, he gets his walkie-talkie, which I can't imagine is that big of a restaurant. But no. he says, this is... I have ice cream barge at table 6. This is not a drill. And everybody's freaking out that they ordered the ice cream barge.
You'll never finish it. It's so big. The officers arrive, and good news from them.
They found the guys and the stuff.
Perfect. So they can solve this situation.
What kind of burglars are they? They stay in the neighborhood they've burgled? In a giant moving van?
Well, they present the situation as, like, Kenan's fault, right? That, like, he left the door wide open. But how many other houses, like, made similar faux pas?
Right, definitely a couple.
And how greedy are these burglars that were like, we stole the entirety of one, like, family room and kitchen. Let's keep going.
It's easy for a young person to understand, I think.
Yeah, right.
It's like, wait, they didn't just steal the diamonds? But that isn't that hard of a concept either. Because we already had an episode about.
They should just go into the diamond store that the 15-year-olds could break into.
Oh my god.
That's the place to be in this town.
Maybe they don't have scuba suits.
The officers leave. They're like, meet us by the truck. And Kenan's like, Kel, you go out there. I'll find a way to stall them more. And what arrives to table 7?
3 waiters carrying like 9-foot-long ice cream barge. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a trough filled with ice cream.
to your religious imagery earlier, it's like the Ark of the Covenant, but it's ice cream.
It's almost more like Noah's Ark shaped, but the Ark of the Covenant
Yeah.
contents, yeah.
And how they move it around.
Right.
Like an alarm's going off, they're clapping and singing a song.
They're ringing the bell. It's large and in charge. It's the ice cream barge.
Yeah, they're singing one of those like Applebee's songs too.
This is like
Here
more.
comes the ice cream barge. Move it, chicken. It's the ice cream barge.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's large and in charge. Here comes the ice cream barge. It's the ice cream barge. It's way too large. It's made by Marge, the lady in the kitchen.
Oh, and Kenan sees this and he gives the look. Though wait a second, I have an idea. Look.
Everyone knows that look from Kenan and Kel. And it's time for Kenan to, I'm gonna say, use the word slap his body. Like you might close a mousetrap. He falls across the screen.
Oh.
Yeah. What he shouts is amazing. He says, "Oh, here's the ice cream barge."
I was not expecting this. I forgot this part. He hits the ice cream barge and it falls all over his family.
It covers them in gallons and gallons of ice cream. And there's like a slime sound effect, like a.
Oh my god.
They have an impossible amount of ice cream on them. The ice cream barge has to be a menu item that's like, all right, this is the rest of the ice cream that we have here for the rest of the night.
Oh my god.
You pay us like $100 and you clear us out of the ice cream for the evening.
That was definitely $100 dessert. Like, how could that be anything less than $100?
Yeah. The waiters all try like to clean them all up. Kel makes a run for it to go to the truck. Roger's like, that's fine. We don't need another one. Just bring us the check.
Wait, Kenan sent Kel to unload the truck that had their stuff
Perfect.
on it.
A perfect plan.
I don't understand why Kenan will never learn anything.
Yeah. Kel, who earlier this episode didn't identify burglars or strangers.
Anyways, Kel is sent, and then they're just asking for the check. So what does Kenan do?
Kenan, realizing that he needs to bide more time, sneaks behind Roger and takes out his wallet. Pasture comes with the bill. He says, "Don't worry, I didn't charge you for the ice cream barge," which is good.
That is.
I felt very good that he was not
That
charged
is
for
good. That is good. They probably could have salvaged enough ice cream though.
Yeah.
They didn't really try
Roger goes reaching for his wallet, can't find it. Cheryl doesn't have any money
because she assumed Roger had some, and so they are left with no other option but to wash all the dishes.
That classic trope.
Classic trope.
I don't know if that's really what happens if you can't pay at a restaurant.
Oh no, that is not what happens.
No, you get like your picture on the wall, right?
Well, it depends. If I was owning a restaurant, I would say, okay, leave your phone, go back home, get money, and come back. Unless they were a regular patron, right?
Okay.
But also, if they have a phone now, you can just do like Apple Pay or Venmo.
Apple Pay, Venmo.
Like they would figure something out.
That makes sense. Or it's like, there's an ATM across the street.
Right. Because if somebody cares enough, like if somebody says, "Oh, I don't have money," that means that they would have paid if they had money. But if they wouldn't have paid, they just leave.
Dine and dash.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're cleaning dishes. Cheryl's happy that everyone's finally pitching in to help with dishes.
Except for Kel.
And they're curious about why, and he says, and Keenan's like, I think he went to find his puppy. But actually, he went to the truck.
He went to the truck, and the officers show Kel the truck, who they leave to unload everything that is just the Rockmore. There's a lot of stuff, right? It's not just the Rockmore stuff. And so there's just take what's the Rockmore's. First off, how would he know? Second off, why is it just him unloading? Like a crime was committed.
Yeah, there's at least 2 robbers. And now it's just this teenage boy in charge of putting all the furniture back. Or some secret, like, a lot of police officers off to the side.
I can't comprehend this. Anyways, so we cut to the Rockmores eventually leaving or walking home, and Kel is sitting in a wicker rocking chair drinking orange soda on the front porch. By the way, the burglars even took the food.
Yeah.
Like, who takes food?
I love seeing the Rockmore's front porch. by the way.
Yeah, good.
This is a fun set.
Good set.
And I love the vibe that Kel has made.
It's like
He's like, do, 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 do.
it's like a late July afternoon in Alabama, sitting on the patio.
Kel, like, kind of won this episode in a way because they were hot earlier. And now he's, like, finally relaxing on the nice evening.
Yes, Kel definitely won Adam.
So they go inside and they're like, I'm so glad everything's back to normal.
And they open the door, and what's different about the inside, Adam?
Everything. So there's like zebra print chairs.
It's totally 80s or 70s. I don't even know what the vibe is.
Yeah, there's a pink hand chair.
Yep, there's a bunch of round chairs that spin.
I noticed that there's photos on the walls of different families. They're like not even like the same families.
That's awesome.
There's like, yeah, all the furniture is different, and the Rockmores freak out accordingly.
And Kenan is in trouble. He looks confused.
Kel's like, Kel basically exclaims, "Oh yeah, all your stuff's still back on the truck, but I love this stuff so much more. I thought I could keep it." And spinning around and sitting in the hand chairs, and Kenan's just at a loss for words in how much trouble that he's in.
Pretty much. Back on stage, they're great outfits here. They're wearing like Kel's wearing like a pink salmon button down, and Kenan's wearing a blue button down, and they both have windbreakers that match those colors. Right? That's pretty classy outfits. But
Kenan's wearing the windbreaker I have.
The blue one, yeah. But we realize something's different about the curtain. It is purple with green dots on it.
Yeah, they stopped grooving to point that out. Kel basically said, "Oh, I found them on the truck too. I gave the other one to Officerman Sony because they said they matched his curtains." Which, once again, a very interesting thing. The characters in the show obtain something from the outside world.
It's very weird.
Yeah, like the veil between worlds. Anyway.
The veil of the sanctuary torn in two. like
torn
the
asunder.
Beginning of the episode.
They drew lots for the curtains. Because it could be divided.
Oh my god. Who's the guy who wrote this episode? I feel like there's some Christ imagery.
Alex Reed.
I think Alex Reed is a Christian.
Kenan has a plan of getting the curtains back, and Kel says, "Is this going to involve some complicated plan that backfires because of me?"
That is the true piece, right? So, okay, what are the three things?
Jump rope, a walrus, and one of those little round sticky things. And meet me where I'm going. Come on, Stuffy.
I got Stubby, but same thing. Yeah, okay, that's right, Adam. This plan would have worked if there was two Kenans, which I hate. I hate that about this. I hate that about the show. Like it would have worked if there were two Kenans, and it shouldn't have worked no matter what.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they were again. It's one of those things that happens in the best episodes when they're so close to fixing everything.
Right.
They would. His parents
they touch it.
Been normal mad at him and not even notice.
Yeah, they touch it. Like they touch everything being fixed and then not.
Like Icarus flies too close to the sun.
Exactly. It's like, oh, it's so nice up here. Psst.
Aaron, for the first time in a couple months, I'd like to ask you, whose fault do you think this episode is? Kenan's or Kel's?
Oh.
Kenan opened the door.
Kenan's
right?
fault. It's Kenan's fault. Kel is just guilty by association.
It's not Kel's fault that he's this way.
Right. Can we say Kel's parents?
Yeah, Kel's parents.
Can we say? I don't think it's fair to ever blame it on Kel. Can we blame
Kel's parents? Yeah. Kenan's fault. This is his irresponsibility that led to all this.
Childhood trauma.
And he had a chance to notice the bugmen were wrong or whatever.
Right.
He brought them into their room. All him. I'm cool with that. We had a wonderful lie from Officer McWiggums.
That was nice. We had a burglar.
Yeah, they shared one of those moments too. This is the fun fact I would like to point out to you. Do you recall back on the Crush episode, I pointed out that there was a very similar Hey Arnold that came out right around that same era.
Yes.
It happened again.
Oh, man.
So Kenan and Kel had The Crush, which released on September 27th, 1997. Hey Arnold had Crush on a Teacher, an episode of very similar plot that was on November 5th, 1997, 2 months later. Attack of the Bugmen happened on November 14th, 1998. Then, 4 months later, Dinner for Four, an episode where I think Helga, Arnold, and like Phoebe and Gerald go to like a very fancy restaurant, and they bring like the wrong like coupon. And they don't have to pay, and they're stalling for time. They're getting extra food, and they eventually have to stay and like clean the dishes. Aired on March 31st, 1999, so 4 months later.
Wow.
So it's weird that happened twice.
Same story. They must have similar writers, or similar people behind the scenes. Nickelodeon.
Same vibe. They go out for drinks and like, oh man, that's a great idea. We should do that too.
I feel like it's more like, oh, that idea is too creative. We should do this thing that we know works.
Yeah,
Probably more like that.
I call them both sitcom staples.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, these aren't brand new ideas, but the format is for both of them is new.
Right.
So, all right, ready to rate this?
Let's rate it.
Out of 10 bottles of orange soda, what would you give this episode?
Adam, I would give it a 7.5.
That is right in line with IMDb. Would you give it a 7.4?
I liked it a lot, but I wasn't like, I don't know. Too many continuity errors, and it just like bugs me. But the jokes were funny. I wasn't crying laughing, but it was good.
Yeah, I think this episode is stacked up a little better for me, just because I have so much nostalgia for it. Just buckets and buckets of it. Like I said, I have fond memories of like the three of us watching this one on TV.
Yeah, it's a good episode.
Yeah, and it makes me cringe, but I love it to pieces. So I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
Very good rating. Wow.
Thanks. Yeah. For the record, this is ranked low medium on the overall list, 39 out of like 62.
Yeah.
So I think it deserves like to be in the upper echelon at least.
Fair enough. So that is all we have for this week. Adam, would you agree?
I would agree.
Next week we are going to surprise our guests with surprise. That is no longer a surprise. Let's see how many more times I can say surprise before we have to review surprise. Roger is planning a surprise anniversary party for Cheryl. Too bad Kenan and Kel are in charge of picking up Cheryl's cake and gift. That is our whole episode for next week, so we're going to skip next week. And we're gonna go right That's it. You know what happens.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious what's going to go down. But we do the show because of all the fun that we have along the way.
That's right. We will give you the play-by-play next week, people.
All right. Until then.
Here it goes.
Thank you for listening. You can send us an email at KenanandKelPodcast@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at anchor.fm/KenanandKelPodcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all at Kenan and Kel Podcast. Kenan and Kenan would be a more. I don't think there would be a show of Kenan and Kenan.
Well, it would work. Their stupid plans would work.
Yeah, they'd get to the top of the Sears Tower.
Right.
And then they'd just hang up the sign and leave.
That's it.
Yeah,
It's so boring.